What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're back at it with more Run 8 action, and today we're going to be making a trip down to the Folkston Funnel from Waycross. We're on the Q215, which was Cincinnati to Jacksonville auto rack service back in the day. Once again, this is early 2000s. Cincinnati to Jacksonville auto rack service. Did have some Talleyrand's on the head end, usually some international stacks, stuff like that from time to time. So yeah, it should be a fun trip. Got a lot of traffic out there to meet today. We're following two trains. We're following the Fernandina Rocket. I think he's down around Braganza, and we're following T101 coal train as well too. So we may run around them, as well as getting 3 northbound meets. So we'll have to see how this plays out, because we are using auto. Auto may do okay, auto may not. You never know, right? You never know what kind of auto you're going to get. But we're on the through town route coming into Waycross. This is the way they would do it back in the day. And we're coming up to Plant Avenue. We'll have to see if we got a light up here. Hopefully we do. We'll feather the independent a tad here, slow her down. Go up here looking out. All right, let's see. What does it look like? Do we have a light or not? Yes, we do. We got a slow approach, so we can go around to Jenkins Street. This is the original way they went through Waycross. Yeah, there's been a ton of different routes in Waycross that have kind of been consolidated over the years. This is the original way. It's nothing like this anymore, and it really was just kind of like a huge operational headache for CSX back in the day. I think Plant Avenue, we were supposed to go over it at like around 10 mile an hour, basically. Even though it was a 15 mile an hour route through there, I think 10 is what we were supposed to go over Plant Avenue. Plant Avenue, they're all the time hitting people there, like all the time hitting people at Plant Avenue. All right, we should be good with that. Let's come out of the throttle just a tad, and we're going to have to ease around, because I know T101 is just now by South Waycross. That's going to be coal train from, let's see, where did they load out of? It was somewhere in Indiana. I can't remember off the top of my head. And it ran down to Bostwick. So that's some of the old, the T101 series trains. They used to load those trains out on, let's see, where they came down the Tallahassee sub. Where did they load those out? They took them by barge, the coal by barge. And they loaded it out. Apalachicola, I guess, is where they loaded it. And then the T101 started there and went down the Tallahassee sub and around that way. It's kind of neat how that was like in the late 90s. And then early 2000s, it changed over to Indiana. Like the whole rail service from Indiana, they quit using barges. A little building on the right is going to be the ice house. Back in the day, that is where we swapped crews for run-through trains. For run-through trains out of Manchester, we would swap right there. There's a little brick building there. All right, let's keep easing around here. We'll feather independent, kind of slow her down a little bit. Straight ahead is going to be Rice Yard. That's going to be the lead into Rice Yard. Track going off to the right is like a Y, a leg of the Y to the back way, the freight lead or whatever you want to call it. Man, I don't even know if that thing was in service back then. I think it was spiked. I don't ever remember them using that. All right, we got to ease around here looking out for the signal at South Y. Yeah, it's a huge operational headache to get through Waycross back in. So you guys that are familiar with how it is now with the Diamond, you see why. Like, it really streamlined things. What I always say, you know, adding like track capacity and stuff like that is to ease operations. So, you know, in some instances, it's not nearly as interesting when they change that stuff up and improve capacity. All right, that light is really hard to see, but we got a restricting coming around. Okay. It's definitely kind of an interesting signal setup for back in the day. I remember this getting a restricting right here. Like, you got slows the rest of the way, but you got a restricting here. I think just purely for the fact that the signal wasn't capable of showing a slow. So the next best thing to a slow would be a restricting, right? Especially when all you had was a two-headed signal. All right, let's keep easing around. And T101 should be, he should be just ahead, but I think he's probably cleared the south end of Waycross. We'll see. Or south Waycross. Looks like he has. Yeah, it looks like he's cleared it. He's definitely going to be the slow boat to China, that is for sure. He's like running 0.7 or 0.8 HPT. Like they did back then. We got to stop at South Waycross, which is fine because by the time we ease down there, and he's got us running into the siding, really. Otto's done lined us into the siding. What is that about? We may have to peek at this in a second and see what he's doing exactly, because that doesn't make sense. So also through town was another way they used to send you if they were backing you into the yard. I remember they used to do that a lot on 647 because it was only about 5,000 feet long, give or take. So yeah, they would run you down down the Jessup and then have you back around into the yard on top of another train usually. Yeah, we're gonna have to peek. I want to see what's going on here. He just gave us an in and out. I don't know why. He gave us an in and out down the siding. Maybe there's something wrong with the main. Maybe he's got a track light or something on the main. I don't know, but either way, it's still restricting. You know, we go down the main, it's restricting. We go down the siding, it's restricting. So it really doesn't matter that much. And I think by the time we get down to southwest Waycross to leave the siding, that coal train is going to be out of the block. We should get a light down there. All right, let's pull up the display here so you can see. See the tags, kind of see where we're at. So coming up on Sweat Street, that's going to be a whole point. I think that was the northbound whole point where like I said before, if you didn't have clearance from A Tower, you couldn't go past that street. It didn't matter what kind of signal indication you had. You could be running on a clear, but if you weren't cleared by Sweat Street, you had to hold there. You couldn't go by it. They had places like that, like all the major yards that I worked in and out of had hold points like that. Chapel Road in Atlanta, Green Springs Road in Birmingham, and Sweat Street and Schoolhouse Crossing in Waycross. All right, well, we'll keep pulling. This part is going to be a little bit slow and a little draggy, so we'll probably skip through it a little bit here. And we'll go over our train stats real fast for those of you that are interested. It is a Q2 1523, like I said, Cincinnati to Jacksonville All-Rack service for the early 2000s. We're 7,346 feet long, so pretty long for back then. 1.6 HPT. 6778 on tons, and we got 79 cars. So pretty decent sized train for back then. And like I said, it's all auto racks, loaded auto racks, and a few Talleyrand. I think we got like 5 or 6 double stacks on the head end. All right, guys, we're coming up on South Waycross. We got a medium clear out of the siding. The track's going to be J1, 2, and 3. J3 be like the freight lead into the yard. So we got a medium clear out. 25 mile an hour track speed. So I guess we're clear of the Y back there. We'll go back and take a peek real fast. Yeah, we just cleared the Y. Zoom out a little bit so I can see. Yeah, all right, just cleared South Y, so we're good on that. We can go ahead and open her up and start pulling out of here. As soon as we get through this OS here. Yeah, definitely an interesting area. Waycross really is. I've always been intrigued by Waycross. How things have changed over the years there. All right, it looks good. I don't know. We should catch up with the T101 if we get some good running. I wonder how this is all going to work out. I said A773 Fernandina Rockets down at Briganza. T101 was here at South Waycross, and then we came around at Plant Avenue. All right, let's go ahead and open her up a little bit. We went ahead and wiped it a couple notches. It's fine. We're like low amps. The train's stretched out. It's not a problem. Like I said, that's just my operating philosophy. That's how I like to run. I'm pretty liberal with the throttle, right? Like it depends on the situation, you know. It depends on what the train's doing and what your amps are and that kind of thing. So far, so good. I think I've done okay. Like in all the running that I've done here lately, I've yet to get a knuckle, so I think I'm doing okay. Give her a little bit more. We'll count it off too. Medium clear out of the siding, so medium speed out of the siding, and then we get to resume maximum authorized speed for our train. I think we're only 65 because we've got an older EMD unit in the consist, so that's going to limit us a little bit. I don't know why Otto wants to do those in and outs like that. Maybe he's just trying to like calculate things or something. One more notch to N6. So next siding is going to be Briganza, and then we have Race Pond, and then we had the double track down into Folkston, and then we get on the Nahuna and head south. I don't know how far south we're going to go. It's probably not going to be much further than Folkston. We'll see how it plays out. A lot of it's going to be based on what Otto does for us. If he does us a solid, we'll probably get some distance, but if he doesn't, if he does us dirty, then we may not get very far. All right, we're at 25. Let's go ahead and come out. So yeah, medium speed out of the siding, but 25 mile an hour siding. That's pretty much standard for all of them. I can think of very few like 30 mile an hour sidings. Like they're pretty much all 25, even though you got a medium, so you had to remember that. There, come by the northbound distant to Waycross, southbound intermediate ANA 590.7. We would say something like CSX Q215's got to clear at the 590.7. 9044 south out. All right, 4,600 feet into it, so we should be able to start pulling on her a little bit. About 2,700 more feet. We'll do a little rail fanning here. All right, here we go. Here's our Q215. A lot of times ran with two jacks on the head end, sometimes three. I remember it with two a whole lot. The big Conrail SD45 too. Now we got our Hamburg Suds. This is our Talleyrand cars for Jackson. We'll go into the port there. A lot of Hamburg Sud in that stuff. And then our auto racks. Never did anything with the Q215. That was a Fitzgerald train. I don't ever remember getting it for anything. I don't ever remember recruiting it into Atlanta. Or not into Atlanta. I don't know what I'm thinking. We always recruit into Atlanta. Yeah, I don't ever remember taking anything with that train. That would never be a recruit for us because we only recruit into Atlanta. So It's a southbound train. So yeah, I never had any dealings with the Q215. That was their train. I think basically it ran Atlanta to Fitzgerald. They swapped crews there, and then they had a short pool that ran down in Jacksonville where they would take it. I think that's how it went down. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think that's how it went. All right, we're out of our speed restriction. We do 65 now. There's 70-mile-an-hour main between Waycross and Folkston, and then 70 down to Nahuna. She should run pretty decent. 1.6 HPT. She's not going to be a rocket, but she's not going to drag either. She should be okay, especially through these sags and stuff down here. We should do all right. All right, well, let's head south. Let's see what Otto has in store for us. Hopefully it's something good. Like I said, we got at least 3 northbounds we have to meet. They're all on the Nahuna headed north right now to Waycross. We got the 2 southbounds ahead of us. So the southbound trains, in addition to us, kind of add a little wrinkle to the mix with Otto, right? He's not just having to calculate us, but he's having to think about the other 2 as well and how all these meets are going to play out. Nice little swampy area there. I think Waycross got its name because it was the only way for the railroad to get across Okefenokee, right? The only route, so they named it Waycross. I think that's how that originated. A lot of dead pines down here. All right, next signal is Astoria, right? I think this is Astoria. I think this is where the double track now ends. I think they put double track all the way down here. Somewhere down in here. I think that's what the new south end is called, is Astoria. Probably you guys that are up on it, the current day stuff, would probably know more about that. This XQ215 has clear by Astoria, 9044 south outs. Forestry road, that's some kind of forestry access road there. All right, yeah, it's pretty flat through here. Really not too bad at all between Waycross and Folkston. I think there's a little bit of a grade into Race Pond. Maybe the north end of Race Pond is kind of top of the grade. There's a little climb coming up out of Folkston into Race Pond, and then there's a drop off down into Folkston going south. There's a little bit of a drop off there too, but I think it's all relatively flat. Not too bad. Some pretty extreme hogbacks on the Nahuna, like it's blown. Blown's the one I can think of. All right, coming by Briganza DD. See what he has to say.
AFX. Equipment defect detector. Milepost 591.7.
Hopefully we're gonna be good to go. That's a really easy way to ruin your trip. All right, coming up on Swamp Park Road. And we got an approach medium on the distant to Braganza, so that doesn't sound good to me, honestly, unless it's another in and out. Swamp Park Road, I think that goes to the main entrance of the Okefenokee. All right, let's start slowing up. Oh, we got it clear. Never mind. Okay, so we're following behind that T101. So that advance, or the approach medium, was an advanced warning for an approach because we're running on color behind him. So he just cleared up. Let's go back into the throttle. So we're not going in the hole. We're just going straight. In old school SEL signal terms, that could have been a advanced approach as well too. Like I said, they kind of wanted to get away from that. I think like current day signal philosophy, they'd much rather use an approach medium or an approach limited on an advanced approach versus just an advanced approach, if that makes sense. It's all about getting the crews to take action. You know, they found that like with an advanced approach, people weren't taking action.
Detector, milepost 591.7. No defects. Total axle 332. End of transmission.
All right, we're good on the DD. Got a little bit of a climb here into Braganza. Got advanced approach on the north end. Yeah, we're running behind that coal train. We may run behind them the whole way. I really don't know. Like, I think Otto prefers to run players around AI trains if he can. So, like I said, I don't know what he has in store for us. We'll see if it clears up before we get to it. Doesn't look like it. That coal train is going to be pretty draggy going into race pond. All right, CSX Q215 has advanced approach north end, Braganza 9044 south out. I'm really hoping this stuff will clear up for us. Though I don't mind running on color. Like I said, it keeps it interesting. Anyway, Braganza just siding in the middle of nowhere. Remember a story, this old head that I worked with, I didn't hear it from him, but I heard it from someone else because this old head was kind of notorious for rocking the boat on the railroad. He's really vocal and he just gave him a hard time. He was known far and away, he was known by the railroad. So he was running down here. He's running some kind of pool down to Jacksonville. I guess it was a long pool on 121 maybe. And they went into siding at Braganza. And the train master from down here climbed on board and surprised him. Didn't have his safety glasses on. Told him, said, you need to put your safety glasses on. He said, okay. He put them on. Trainmaster stepped off. They went on down the line to Hague. Hague used to be a siding. Now it's the start of the double track, but Hague was a siding back in the day. They went down to Hague. They went in the hole again. Trainmaster came down there, snuck up on, got back on the engine, and he had taken his safety glasses off. He didn't have them on after he'd already just told him to put them on. So yeah. All right, got it clear. Nice. All right, clear south of Braganza. I'm kind of wondering if he's going to stick the coal train in at Race Pond and let us go around him, maybe. That was the same old head. I also heard another story about him. He used to work the F2 pool to Birmingham. I think that was the one he preferred back in the day. We worked the F2 pool to Birmingham, and the terminal superintendent highly encouraged him to make a seniority move down south on the I-1 pool after he took 8 hours to do a brake test in Birmingham in the terminal. It was a mainline train, right? But it's supposed to get a brake test, and they had to set cars out, and that kind of torqued them a little bit that they had to do that. And so he took 8 hours on the brake test, and it kind of gummed things up a little bit there for the day. So interesting story. You never know if these are true or not, or if these are just tales that kind of follow people along. You don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it. Knowing this guy, I wouldn't doubt, like, the times that I've been around him, it doesn't surprise me one bit. It's one thing, any of you that are associated with the railroad will know that it is full of very colorful people. Very colorful personalities, like, some people you don't forget. All right, Race Pond's next. We headed to Race Pond, and we've got a clear. Yeah, we're running just right behind him. It was approached for a second. Now it's a clear. Maybe kind of a longer video today, but it seems like you guys enjoy them. They're the longer railroad videos are some of my most watched videos, actually, so that's good. It really helps out a lot. It does. All right, Fort Mudge. No clue where that name came from. As I said before, I never worked down here. I never went south of Waycross, so I had the opportunity to, but I never took it. I wish I had them. And this spot here would just be a big, open, kind of burned out, swampy area. All right, got it clear. All right, next signal I think is going to be the distant to Race Pond. Then we'll have Race Pond. I think this is actually just, it may have been burned out. It may have just been a really, like a big logged out area. Like it just went in and clear cut everything. Either way, it's pretty flat. We're running a good 60 through here, give or take. Look back on our train a little bit here. Nice. That's pretty cool. I like that view. I'm telling you, railroading in the early 2000s was a good time. I want to say it was the last golden age because you could see a lot of different things back then. There was a lot of trains too. A lot of coal moving. A lot of business, a lot of traffic. It seems like nowadays it's all intermodal or nothing. A little bit of box freight, some unit stuff, but not nearly as much coal. You don't like coal anymore. All right, got approach medium distant to Race Pond. So we'll see. Is this going to be an advanced warning or are we going in? And I think we should probably grab some air on this one. Give us time to get our dynamics set up. This is going to be just right up here. It's not very far, 2 miles away. Yeah, we may not use dynamics. I don't know. It's slowing down pretty good. Let's go ahead and set them up till I decide. We'll just kind of watch what she does here. Yeah, I think we're going to knock it off. We'll just kind of go with it. I think Race Pond is just up here in the trees a little bit. So we could be going into siding. We could be going down the main. That could be an advanced warning for an approach, or it could be because we're going into siding. One of the two. Race Pond, of course, going to be a single siding. It's going to be another 25-mile-an-hour siding, so we got to keep that in mind. We got the approach medium, but all right, let's give her a little dynamic now. And we may be able to see, it's around a curve. I think we're going to keep going. I really do. I don't see us going in here. We could. All right, what do we got? We are going in. We're going into siding. Okay, so we must be meeting that guy that was by Boulogne when we started out. All right, well, we'll keep rolling with it. All right, so top of the grade on this stretch is going to be north end of Race Pond. We may have to pull in a little bit here. Yeah, I guess we're meeting the northbound here. The coal train probably went on south, maybe, unless, I mean, we got a medium clear, so we're doing it in and out. Maybe the coal train is actually holding the main. And we're going around them. Yeah, it didn't even dawn on me. We got a medium clear, so we're doing it in and out. He's holding the coal train on the main. I don't know why. Like, he's only a little bit shy of 5,000 feet. It would have been way easier for him to put him in the siding, let us run around him down the main, and then let us go on, because it's just a lot more involved for us to drive or to drag 7,000 feet of train into the siding than him. We should. I don't see his bottom. Are they doing another weird in and out? You know what? Let's peek. Let's peek. Yeah, something's janky here. He's taking one of the trains that's supposed to go up the Jessup, up the Nahunta, which is probably because he doesn't know what the symbol is. Which is surprising, because it should be like a Q458, which you can go in and fix that. We could go in and fix that and make them recognize it, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there's no one on the main. He just did another in and out with us. He did another in and out. I don't know why. K20, Q214. It's coming by Winnaker. Yeah, he ran all of them up. Yeah, he ran all of them up, up the Nahuna, which isn't right. Those should have been Jessup trains. That's totally my fault. He did. Yeah, I goofed that up, and Otto goofed that up too, because we didn't do the symbol. So we were supposed to meet the Q458. You see, T101 is going in He's going to meet him at Folkston on the double main here. Let's zoom in on that. Yeah, all right. Q458 stopped at Hague. We're doing an in and out at Race Pond for some reason. I have no clue as to why. Let's watch our speed before we get too fast. Yeah, he completely goofed our meets up, but that's partly my fault. And then 773 is going southbound towards Hilliard, which is right. He would swing Grand Junction and go up to Fernandina. K20, we were supposed to meet him. That was a Chicago phosphate train, but he's going up the Nahuna. It's my fault. I should have set up the symbols for that better. Which isn't like out of the realm of possibility. A phosphate train could go up that way. They could swing around towards Augusta and go up the Clinchfield that away for different reasons. Maybe crew shortages, congestion, you know, there's a lot of different things that they could reroute trains for. Track work. 214, I've never known 214 to go up the Clinchfield. That absolutely should have gone up the Jessup and the Fitz. So unfortunately we just had 2 of our meets taken away from us. We're gonna meet 1 train now, guys. Sorry. 1 train today. I was hoping 2, but we'll have to try this again sometime. Unfortunately, there's not much to funnel on the route when they're routing them up to Nahuna. There, we got a medium clear out, so we're doing it in and out. I don't know why. I mean, I've done this in real life. I want to say when they did it before in real life, it was because of a track light on the main, maybe, or something like that. Or they couldn't get a signal down the main, so they just ran us through the siding. And then I want to say the other time was because of, like, they had some kind of automated dispatching that they used, and it just routed us in the siding for whatever reason. I want to say a dispatcher told us, he's like, I don't know why you're going in the siding. It just happened. I remember going in a siding on another trip and sitting there. It was actually a campground. All right, so campgrounds on the Fitz, on High Rail Simulations Fitz. Ooh, we're getting way too fast. Watch that speed there. I wasn't paying attention. So on the Fitz, so it's the last siding before we get into Manchester. So yeah, we're looking at home terminal, and we get routed into the siding there at Manchester, and it was quiet on the railroad. There wasn't anything going on, and we couldn't get in touch with the dispatcher. Like, we toned him up, we couldn't get in touch with him. We sat there forever. The dispatcher finally called us on the radio and said, whoever we were, I can't remember, said, I am so sorry. You got routed into the siding campground at Ship Change. I have no clue what's going on, but I don't know why you're in the siding there, but we're going to take you out and bring you to Manchester. So they basically stuck us in the siding there for an hour or so for nothing, right? I don't know why. Yeah, let's use a little dynamic, because like I said, Race Pond is going to be the top of the grade on this part of the Jessup. So it's going to be downhill a little ways. I think we climb up into Hague, and then it drops back down into Folkston again. Man, I hate that about our meets. They totally goof that up. There's an XML file. For you guys that don't know it. For you guys that don't know it. I don't know why I said use guys. There's an XML file that is for the auto dispatcher to route trains. Like, it kind of gives him an idea of where certain symbols go, and if those symbols aren't in the XML file, like the K20 or the 214, he doesn't know where to send them, so he just sends them straight ahead. So that's basically what happened with that, unfortunately. You can see where it kind of drifts down grade. There's a little knot down there, and I think it continues on down to like maybe there's a bridge down there or something, a little swampy area it kind of goes into. Let's come out of the dynamics just a tad. Well, I'm glad he could route us through a 25-mile-an-hour siding with, you know, over 7,000 feet of train. That was great. I didn't count that off either. So it says train track speed is 30. Maybe that is a 30-mile-an-hour siding. I have to go back to my old timetable and see. Like I said, there were a few, but a large majority of them were 25. Maybe the signal sidings on the Fitz minus Ross and one other were 25, and then on the Jessup side, on this part of the Jessup, they may have been 30. I need to go back and pull out my timetable. I've got my 2003 timetable, last one that was issued to me. I may have another one too. I may have one earlier than that. I have to go back and dig through them. All right, there we go. We're out of the siding. Let's come out dynamic and we'll pull on it. So yeah, Q458 is going to be waiting for us at Hague. I guess he's holding down there. And it looks like we're not going to be running around the T101 either, which I just knew for sure we would be doing that. It's a 50-mile-an-hour train. We're 65, so there's a little bit of a difference there. All right, let's come across the Hague DD.
EFX. Equipment defect detector. Milepost 611.0.
We shouldn't have stuck brakes. I grabbed 10. I don't think I've grabbed anything less than 10 on the air, so we should be good to go with that. Unless we've got a defective triple valve or something like that. Could happen. Could very well happen. We could have one that's a little bit sticky, or you could have a snapshot, or I think most people call them dynamiters. Like I said, we always call them snapshot, and we're the only ones I ever remember ever hearing them called snapshots. I don't know why. Well, at least we're downhill, 0.7 down, so that'll help us get our speed back up pretty quick. And we're going to title this video, "My Dispatcher Lost His Mind," because I have no clue what he's doing. Sometimes I don't think Otto knows either, right? You're like giving Otto a hard time. Alright, 65-mile-an-hour curve here is not a problem for us, though, because we can only do 65. Alright, clear intermediate, 612.5. Next one would be the distant to Hague. and then the double track at Hague. Like I said, early on it was just single track in the Folkston. It wasn't double track the way it is.
Equipment, defect, detector, milepost, 611.0, no defect. Total axle, 332, in the transmission.
All right, we're good on the DD. Yeah, it's just single track. It's just the siding at Hague, and then they lengthened the south end of the siding and they connected it into the Nahuna and did the double track and all that stuff. But yeah, it used to be just siding down there. They did that. They were working on that when I was working. So I guess 2002, 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. Maybe 2002-ish is when they were doing it. Doing that double track. All right, there's going to be the bottom of our grade here. That'd come out throttle just tad. That should be good. So pretty flat, and like I said, I'm almost certain there's a little knot going into Hague, and then it kind of drops off pretty good into Folkston. Like there's that little short steep hill there, like as you're looking at the signal maybe. Go back in just a little bit, came out too far. There we go, approach limited, distant to Hague. You guys get to see some other aspects now. You get to see a lot of aspects down here at Folkston. Approach limiteds and limited clears and medium approach mediums. All right, let's come on out. And we'll use dynamics for this. Come out of that. The grade should honestly slow us up. Like we may not even use dynamics for that. Yeah, it's coming on down. Let's go back into power just a little bit. Ooh, had some slack running in and out. Here's what it looks like here. A little bit. Not too bad. You run these lines enough, you come in these situations, you'll know what to do. Like you know, if I'd run it enough, regular enough, I would have known I'd never need dynamics for this. Just use the terrain to slow us down. There, I got limited clear at Hague. Will be the Q458 hanging out there. So yeah, we didn't run around the coal train. We didn't meet K20. We didn't meet Q214. That's going to be the Q458 Jacksonville to Waycross slop rate. I don't know what it is now. Maybe they still run that. I don't know. CSX Q215 has a limited clear. Hague. 9044 south outs. There we go. Q458. Been hanging out there for a while. Got his auto racks and his mixed freight. I think a lot of empty auto racks came back on the Q458 that like they went down on the Q215. But there was no empty return service for the auto racks, so I think they just kind of funneled them back north in slot freights like the 458. Usually they always had a pretty good cut of auto racks in it. I want to say 215 was a daily train. I think it was. I think it was daily. And then every once in a while, they would do away with the Q215 and they would run the Q245 in its place. It basically, Q245 was Detroit to Cincinnati loaded auto racks. And instead, and I don't know why they did this, sometimes this stuff just didn't make sense or I just didn't know enough about it, but they would abolish the Q215 and just do a Q245 all the way to Jacksonville from Detroit. All right, so we're coming up a little knot into Folkston here. Actually, what is this place here called? Homeland. Yeah, there it is. It's right there on the tag. This would be Homeland, basically Folkston. Another approach limited distant to Folkston. Nice. So I want to say this used to be the south end of Hague right here. Yeah, I think this was the old south end of Hague. All right, let's come out a little bit because we got this drop down. As you can see right there's a drop down into Folkston. So it's not very long, but it's steep. It's short and steep. We'll give ourselves a little wiggle room on speed here, going down that. And kill that bill. We don't need that. All right, Folkston Funnel, one of the biggest railfan spots on all of CSX, right? It's like one of the go-to places, if not the go-to places, you know? Let me know in the comments if you guys ever been to Folkston. I know some of you have. A little more speed here. A little more power, a little more speed. She slowed up a lot more than I thought she would. CSX Q215 has a limited clear, Folkston. Jessup to Nahuna. 9044 south out. One of these, is it this one? Okay, that's 45. Yeah, I was going to say one curve is 45, the other one is 40, so the outside one is 40. That's kind of a tricky spot you have to remember. Nice, let's count it off. We'll go a little bit further south, but towards Blown, and then we'll call it. There, here we are, downtown Folkston. Platform on the left. Really nice platform, a good spot. Yo, there in the picnic tables, look, they got people out there. They got people watching us by. Nice. All right, next spot or next location is going to be crossover at Blown. So now we're on the double track, the Nahuna sub. Goes from Savannah down to Jacksonville, or the original ACL, like high-speed main line, right? All those passenger trains that ran between Florida and Washington and New York. Counting off 5,300 feet through the switch, we'll be able to do 50, and I didn't count off the other 50. I wonder, let's cheat. Since it's been goofed up completely, let's go ahead and cheat. Okay, yeah, he put T101 on number 2 main. He's got us going down number 1 to overtake him. So that makes sense. 773 is going towards Jacksonville. Fernandina Rockets. We're out of the 45. We can do 50 now, and then we'll be able to do track speed. This is a really cool stretch of track. If you want something kind of diverse and fun, Waycross to Jackson definitely, Waycross to Jacksonville is definitely where it's at. You get some double track running, you get some single main running. There, we should be coming out of that 50 anytime now. CSX Q215 has a clear St. Mary's 9044 south out. There we go. All right. Yeah, I should call off what main we're on to. I can't ever remember, though. I have to look. It's number 1 main. So we say clear St. Mary's number 1 main. 9044 south out. St. Mary's Bridge here. It's the Florida-Georgia state line. We'll go on to Blown. We'll go on and take it down there, then we'll call it. We'll drop down to the river. I think we climb out a little bit and then we drop down into Blown. Blown's got a pretty good hog back there. clear out that counter. We might be able to hit 60. I don't think we're going to see 65 on this train. I don't think we have the horsepower to do it. We need to do is another Folkston Funnel video. We'll do it northbound next time, and I'll get the symbols straightened out, going the way they're supposed to. We should have a lot more meets. Like I said, we kind of got screwed on it, and that's my fault. That's like 100% my fault. Yeah, you see track, the climb into Blown, and then where it drops off up there. There's quite a few hogbacks along this stretch, mostly on the north end. It flattens out more towards Jacksonville, down towards like Callahan. You know, from Callahan south to Jacksonville, I think it's fairly flat. There, that's going to be a distance to Blown. Blown used to be a one-way crossover back in the day. It wasn't, you know, now it's a double crossover, but back in the day it was only one way. I can't remember from what track to what. I think it was from 2 to 1. Maybe, and then Hilliard was the opposite. So it wasn't nearly as accommodating. Oh, this is okay. Never mind. This is Blown. Never mind. I was thinking I was distant for some reason. It wasn't nearly as accommodating back in the day. Yeah, I think it may have been 2 to 1, and then Hilliard was 1 to 2. So it was a little bit of a challenge back then. Like, it wasn't nearly as flexible as it is now as far as like crossing trains over back and forth. And I want to say they did the double crossovers maybe the same time they did the double track into Folkston from Hague. Maybe. I said, don't quote me on that. It's been years ago. It's been a super long time. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and end this one here, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed. We're coming up on 6,000 subs, and it blows my mind. Like, we're getting right there at it. And I really do appreciate everything that each and one of you, you know, each and every one of you have done. Liking, subscribing, you know, viewing, leaving comments, all that stuff. Love all of you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the rails next time. Peace.